What's up YouTube? It's Donovan, the smartphone guy, coming back at you with another video, and tonight I'm excited to introduce to you the newest member of the smartphone guy team, and that is this device, the OnePlus 3. So you can see that I have the retail version of the phone, so I'm going to go ahead and unbox this bad boy and give you my first impressions. So without further ado, let's get this party started. Alright, so here is the package for the OnePlus 3, and you can see here that I got the graphite, and as of right now, as far as I know, there's only one version you can get, and that is the 64 gig version. So I'm going to go ahead and rip this thing open, hopefully, and take a look at this sweet phone. So this is actually the first time, obviously, I'm ever seeing it. And let's see what we get in the box. So first of all, we have the phone, and one thing I noticed right away is that it does have a screen protector that is already on the phone. And I'm going to pull it out of there, and it's almost like there's a case back there. That's kind of interesting. The hard plastic case, kind of. I don't think that comes off of there. Alright, so while the phone is getting set up, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at what we get in the box. So inside this package here, we get our SIM tool and the quick start guide, some information that we probably will never use. Alright, and this looks like another guide of some sort. Just a little note from OnePlus. We got our dash charger, and on the dash charger, what's it say there? We got a 4 amp output. Holy cow. No wonder it's such a fast charger. 4 amp output. I don't know if you guys can see that there, but 4 amps. Most of the Qualcomm even 3.0 chargers are only a 3 amp output, so that's super fast. And then of course our USB Type-C cord. Nice thick cord, not the same flat cord that you normally would get from OnePlus, but still a nice thick cord there. And it looks like that's about it. Alright, so taking a quick look around the phone, we're going to start out with the back. We have our 16 megapixel camera, which has a f2.0 aperture on it. We have our single LED flash here with the antenna bands running through the bottom. It definitely looks a lot like, to me, like an HTC 10, and a cross between that and the iPhone 6s Plus. On the side here, we have our SIM card slot there and our power button. On the top, we got nothing, nice and flat there. And then on the side, we have our notification slider there, so we can turn notifications on and off. We have our volume rocker, and then on the bottom, we have our speaker grill, so just a single mono speaker, USB Type-C charging port there, and our microphone and the headphone jack. So that pretty much covers everything on the side. So we'll go ahead and look at the front. We have this is the 8 megapixel front facing shooter. We have our speaker here, and then we have our fingerprint sensor, and there are capacitive buttons here that aren't currently lit up. Also, if you notice there was a little LED flash as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, and you can see that it has already been set up, so I'm going to go ahead and use my fingerprint. And something that's a little bit different, I did go through like the normal setup that you would do with most Android phones, but then this also has its own little bit of a setup here. So it's called the navigation control, so we can use software buttons, or we can of course use our capacitive buttons. To start out, I'm going to go ahead and use capacitive buttons, and then maybe at some point I'll switch over to software buttons. So then we have some gestures that we can turn on. So double tap to wake, definitely one I want to use. The open camera with an O is definitely a good one. Flashlight, draw a V, that's one that I'm used to, so I really like that. And then we have some music controls as well, so I'm going to go ahead and turn all of those on. So it looks like you can draw a less than or greater than sign. I'm a math teacher, by the way, so that's a less than or greater than sign to me, to go track forward and track backwards. So go ahead and turn all those gestures on, and looks like we're all set with the setup. So I already started downloading some of my apps to it, so it's asking me if I want to use Nova Launcher, but first we're going to use OnePlus Launcher just so we can take a look at that. It's already got my picture of the tiger's background there. Go ahead and turn the camera on just to kind of take a quick snapshot with it. We'll ignore that for now, and we'll take a quick snapshot. and it's real early to kind of make any kind of indication of what that is like, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later. Whoops, I switched to Nova Launcher there. Don't want to do that. So let's go home again and go back to the OnePlus launcher. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the menu, and you can see that this is pretty much stock Android here. Now, it has already started to download a few of my apps, but as far as I can tell here, we have a voice recorder, which is an app that would not normally come on Android phones. We have its own file folder there. Gallery looks a little bit different. But other than that, really no bloatware whatsoever on this phone. Everything that's bloat on here at this point is something that's downloaded from my other phone. So I set this up with my S7, and so it's already starting to download my apps from my S7. But other than that, yeah, absolutely no bloatware on the phone. And then we come up here, and it looks like we have pretty much just stock Android through and through here in the settings menu, or in our notification shade. So everything there looks pretty stock. We do have the hotspot there, which I'm not sure if that's normal to stock Android, but we do have this night mode, which you can see kind of changes the coloring. It kind of turns all of the whites to a more yellow tint. For night mode, we'll go ahead and turn that back off. And this, of course, has a 1080p screen, which when I look at this, it kind of reminds me of, like, if you're familiar with like the Nexus 6 and Nexus 6P, kind of somewhere in that range in terms of the screen quality is what I'm looking at least in my perspective. Just kind of an initial impression there. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the settings menu and see what that looks like. So the settings menu, basically stock Android. The only thing I see on here that is any different from stock Android would be this alert slider. That is definitely not a stock Android thing there, but everything else pretty much looks like stock. I've had my hands on this OnePlus 3 for a few hours now. I've been able to get it all set up, and I just want to give you kind of my first impressions of the phone. So first of all, that fingerprint scanner we'll talk about is very quick. I have 4 fingerprints registered, and it's almost immediate. The only phone that I can think of on the market right now that has a faster fingerprint sensor is the LG G5. That phone still has the fastest fingerprint sensor that I think you can find. But this one is very, very fast. Awesome. So far, build quality obviously is very good. It is a very thin phone, and it's surprisingly light for a metal build phone. Definitely lighter than like the HTC 10, kind of right there in the ballpark of like the iPhone 6s, but obviously a little bit bigger than that phone. So there's that little camera bump. Right now I have a case on it that goes over that camera bump, so that's a little covered. The one complaint I have right away after just a few hours of using the phone is that speaker on the bottom. The speaker on the bottom is just, for listening to music, if that's what you plan to do, honestly, you're not going to really want to use this speaker here. So anyways, so far so good. Really enjoy the phone. I'll give my full review coming up in a few days. So go ahead, and if you have any questions about the phone during my full review, I'll go ahead and try to address those questions for you. So leave those questions in the comment section, and then also please subscribe to my channel for further updates on my impressions of the OnePlus 3. Thanks for watching.